All right, take a look at these exclusive images. That's the ICU at Inova Fairfax Hospital. ABC7 is the first news organization to get access to that ground zero in the battle against COVID-19. Now at 5 p.m., we showed you the changes at the hospital to fight the pandemic.
Well, all new now at 6 o'clock. ABC7's Victoria Sanchez introduces us to the staff in that ICU who battle this virus day in and day out. And this is a story you'll see only on ABC7.
Critical care is like the ultimate team sport.
Is the albumin getting bolused?
It takes every single member of the team. Every little move you make makes a big impact.
This is their battlefield.
So some days you're like, you can't even think about the future. Like, I have to do tomorrow, and then we'll go for another tomorrow after that.
The fight started March 6th.
Eventually, the whole unit was converted to be a full 18-bed COVID ICU.
After 8 months, still no ceasefire in sight.
This is where we put the sickest of the patients.
Red crosses mark the doors of the COVID positive, and the men and women of Inova Fairfax Hospital don't take chances. Head-to-toe protection shields them from the virus, but not the emotional toll.
A long time ago when I got into this, the idea was I would try and never let anyone younger than me die.
The pandemic made that promise impossible after a healthy 28-year-old died of COVID.
That was pretty hard to see. But that's the job, right? You get up the next day, you have to come back and still be able to do everything you can for the other set of patients too.
Like, that could be me in the bed. That could be my family. That could be my husband. That could be my sister. That could be my brother.
26-year-old nurses Erin Fogelman and Rebecca Crosby say it's the young patients that are the hardest.
It's definitely sobering.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Very taxing emotionally for everyone on the front line.
With the struggles come the successes, like Titu Pomachan after 23 days. And Rodrigo Valderrama, 52 days in the hospital.
Thank you for saving my life.
And they lived.
And they lived. And they lived and have both walked back into this unit, have both, stepped foot where previously they had been rolled in on a bed, been able to say, hey guys, thank you. So for them to come back, it's just uplifting because we get to see a patient become a person again.
Despite the stress, or maybe because of it, the hospital team lifts each other up.
Gotta keep it lighthearted, right?
There you go, I love it.
You kind of sound like Darth Vader, too.
A little bit. Hopefully not the same attitude.
With no end in sight, resilience will keep Inova Fairfax powering through the pandemic.
So that's what brings teams together. It's not simply working together, but succeeding together.
Victoria Sanchez, ABC7 News.
Boy, that is just amazing work that they're doing there. We thank them all for everything they're doing. Now, our coverage of this exclusive story continues right now on our website at WJLA.com. And there, you'll find dozens of pictures showing the people on the front lines of this pandemic. It's right there on our front page.
We're so grateful for all they do.
All new tonight, Michelle, an update on this man that we introduced you to last month, and he was in bad shape. He was in a coma, near death, until he became one of the very first people in the country to get convalescent plasma that was donated antibodies from somebody who actually had recovered from COVID-19. That donor was a complete stranger, at least until now. Victoria Sanchez was there for the emotional meeting you'll see only on 7.
I was so sick, I almost don't make it.
Rodrigo Valderrama has quite the life story at just 31 years old.
I was in coma for 5 weeks.
He was on the verge of death, on maximal support on the ventilator.
He was one of the first in Northern Virginia to get COVID-19. The avid Alexandria runner was put on a ventilator and lung bypass machine called ECMO, but he wasn't getting better.
Then we were thinking, what else can we do? Young, healthy men, we're going to do everything we possibly can. And then that's when Dr. Sessi and her team came in and said, hey, let's try and donate convalescent plasma.
Antibodies from a recovered COVID patient, a stranger.
And I want to meet the person that gave me the plasma.
In this case, from the arm of David High.
Thank you for saving my life.
The emotions were overwhelming for Valderrama and his mother, who traveled from Colombia to be here.
You look fantastic. Thank you. After 5 months.
The meeting was just the beginning of a new chapter for Valderrama. He's paying it forward.
I am alive because of you.
Donating his plasma to someone else.
Pens are right there. You're going to want to keep your pen, okay?
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
The two men, now connected, sat side by side as the bags of what doctors call liquid gold filled up.
I'm a little part of him. I have a little part of him.
His laugh is contagious. It's something his friends and family waited 5 weeks to hear again when Valderrama was put in a medically induced coma.
And they just put me a mask and they sedated me. And I woke up like a month after that. Wow, wow, wow.
Valderrama is once again running, getting his lungs back to where they were before he nearly lost his life from a virus taking so many others.
We never thought we'd see this kind of story, a happy ending.
Victoria Sanchez, ABC 7 News.
Don't you love seeing that? Well, you can see more of that heartwarming reunion and our original story that made international headlines right now on our website at WJLA.com. And you can also learn how you can donate plasma as well and be a lifesaver in the process.
ABC 7's Victoria Sanchez was the only reporter to talk with the family one-on-one. All new right now, she describes that father's escape from what he called the gates of death.
Connie and Luis Velasquez have a love you read in books.
The one that my heart loves.
Their story added an unexpected chapter 3 months ago.
I realize now during this time how much you can love someone until the end, in sickness and in health.
Within 3 days of Luis going to the emergency room in April,
something serious could happen at this point.
He was intubated, put in a medically induced coma, in a hospital bed for 103 days.
It was never good news. It was always like,
we're trying to save his life.
Yeah.
Connie couldn't visit, so she kept watch outside.
That's the way that she could be close to him. And so that's what she's always done every single day.
And invited people from all over the world
Bienvenidos a todos en el día 102.
to pray for un milagro para Luis, a miracle.
Estamos de fiesta con Jesús y al cielo queremos ir.
Today, he's headed home.
Milagro. I gotta face it. We were close to death. If I would have to name this situation, I would say coming out of from the gates of death.
While in a coma, Luis missed his own birthday, Father's Day, and a 25th wedding anniversary. But what's one day, or 103, when you have love and devotion in sickness and in health?
There is no a human explanation. It's just simple and true love.
Victoria Sanchez, ABC 7 News.
New tonight, a lifetime bond forged by life-threatening battles with COVID-19. These 4 Northern Virginia men were strangers before being admitted to Inova Fairfax. Well, new at 6 o'clock, those men are uniting to say thank you to the hospital staff that saved them. ABC 7's Victoria Sanchez has a special gathering you'll see only on 7.
It's an unconventional homecoming.
Hi, how are you? How are you? Do you remember me?
A reunion.
Oh my gosh, I don't even recognize you guys.
For some of the country's earliest COVID-19 survivors.
You wake up and you're like, okay, let's start from scratch now.
You had a fever to 109. 109.
4 patients meeting each other.
Well, that's the thing, because he was intubated within 24 hours, too.
And families meeting the men and women who saved their lives.
Which nurse had my husband?
We were all saying that we get goosebumps because it's so weird seeing them walking and talking and, living life normally.
Goosebumps. And you can see why.
I was maybe debating to God that I don't want to go. I'm the wrong person.
58-year-old Mohammed Khan, 8 weeks in the hospital.
Maybe I wasn't ready to go yet, I didn't want to leave.
47-year-old Juan Peral, 6 weeks in ICU.
Every day I ask me, what happened?
Rodrigo Valderrama, just 31, and spent 8 weeks here.
I woke up in a completely different world.
3 weeks for 45-year-old Titu Pomachan. Now their families get to share laughter after sharing so many tears.
I'm so thankful. Thank you for everything that you did for me.
I can't express enough
No, thank you. I really can't. So thank you.
He was feisty. He was quite feisty.
I didn't want to go without a fight, I guess.
Dr. Eric Osborne says each one of these men had the spirit to keep living, pushing through when it looked like the end.
It's humbling and a tremendous inspiration to see them.
They say it was Dr. Osborne.
You are a hero.
Who fought for them.
He never quit on us. He could have quit.
Thanks to the doctors and the nurses, we're here to tell a story now.
And what a story they have. Victoria Sanchez, ABC 7 News.
Such sweet memories there. That special reunion continues right now on WJLA.com, including how this all came together. And there you'll also find our exclusive photo gallery. Plus, hear the letter from a woman who lost her husband to COVID-19, her emotional message to the medical team who tried for 100 days to save her husband. Once again, it is all on our front page right now, WJLA.com. And Victoria really put it in perspective. After so many tears, really it is nice to see some laughter and some smiles.
To the COVID-19 vaccine now, where only on 7 tonight we are showing you how the Pfizer vaccine gets from those ultra cold freezers we've told you about to your arm.
It happens quick, too. All new at 6 o'clock. ABC 7's Victoria Sanchez brings you an exclusive access to Innova's vaccination clinic.
Santa arrived this morning with our vaccine.
The special delivery days before Christmas is putting smiles on the masked faces of Northern Virginia frontline hospital workers.
Yay. Thank you.
ICU nurse Ann Manley sees the COVID vaccine as the first step out of an emotional 2020.
When I think back on this year, my head kind of spins. It's, you know, from the initial panic and fear to just extreme sadness and anger and exhaustion.
The vaccine clinic for employees is a realization of a dream for Innova CEO, Dr. Stephen Jones.
It's a moment that we've been waiting for, and we weren't sure it was going to come.
So each of these boxes has 975 doses.
The hospital system received enough vaccine for nearly 10,000 people. Each dose kept under lock and key and deep freeze.
This really is a logistical challenge. Not only the -80-degree freezer, but once we take it out, you can only have it at room temperature for 2 hours.
There are actual timers that start when the vials are taken from freezer to pharmacist, who thaw, mix, and fill syringes. Those are carefully walked to awaiting nurses, ready for the timed appointments.
That's it?
Yeah, you're all set.
Awesome.
Respiratory therapist Dustin Seitz calls the first of his 2 shots hope during a pandemic nightmare.
I'm glad to be a part of this.
Dr. Eric Osborne continues to care for some of the sickest COVID patients and stepped away from the ICU to get his shot before heading back.
I think it's definitely the beginning of the end. I think the end is still a long ways away.
The initial group of around 5,000 Innova employees are scheduled for their shot through the first week of January. They will need to come back 21 days later for their second dose. In Fairfax, Victoria Sanchez, ABC 7 News.